Late December 2025 with the Lovelocks of Sunninghill. Rough cut photo trails and video clips.
I might put a few pictures and things at the front as a bit of a flavour of what follows in this long video. But
yes, work on Homer and the flatulent fairy, and well, rather than go into the details, you'll look at the photo trails, but the flatulent fairy went up and she came down again. And yes, June had a meal in the Sorrentina, and there was a get-together in the Duke of the Armitage Murray Residents Association, and June found another source of arancini just round the corner at, yeah, it tasted good as well, just 6 minutes drive at Luigi's Deli, and it was great meeting Luigi and his partner Francesco. And yes, we'll be certainly going there again, and maybe there's ways in which Luigi's Deli can help La Sorrentina and vice versa, because the arancini in La Sorrentina are smaller but very nice. And of course I spent time in the Comrades Club enjoying myself, particularly with the people that you see in there. And Michelle joined us from Coventry with her cat Lady, and we had to get together halfway between Sunninghill, Yateley and Raunds near Northampton.
let's start with a standard introduction. This is where we live, at 22 Armitage Court. Sorry about the dustbins, haven't been put away yet. Just here at so-called Robin's Corner, where GPS was tested from the late 1980s, down at this spot. And there's the garden sculpture that June gave Robin for a present a few years ago now. Yes, you'll see more of Homer and the flatulent fairy soon. There's the robot boat. There's the oak tree. Not so many leaves on it now, that sprung up from an acorn, whenever that was. I think it was about the time we moved in, 1980, full time. So, coming round to Homer, yes, he's been going up every year for many years now, and I made a modification to the, it's on the bottom end of the photo trail, but basically a different solution for the fan. And this is very important. The flatulent fairy, she needs a bit of tidying up. There's the lovely high heel shoes that I got, that's on some of the photo trails.
Yes,
there's another
work
one
on
down
Homer.
Here. Oh, there's
her
her other foot.
Flatulent fairy.
She needs to be arranged a little better.
Well,
yeah,
rather than go into the details, you'll look at the photo trails. But
on her own
the
Christmas tree,
fairy went up and she came down
a few things
again.
have got to be
and yes,
adjusted, like
June had a
the
meal
lights
in the
inside Homer
Sorrentina,
and everything else. But
and there was a get-together in the Duke
This is
of the
Snoopy's
Armitage
robot
Murray
boat.
Residents Association.
Haven't had any chance to
and June
do
found
any
another
work on that
source
for
of
practically
arancini
years now,
just
with
round the
Snoopy
corner
the Viking, but it's all on the Snoopy page.
Yeah, it tasted good
the
as well.
outstanding
Just
problems
6 minutes
to be
drive
fixed before we
at
go for
Luigi's
another
Deli, and it was great
transatlantic
meeting
attempt.
Luigi and
So,
his
coming down,
partner Francesco.
yes, this is June's car.
Yes, we'll be certainly going
Promotion
there
of
again.
the website,
And maybe there's ways in which Luigi's
gpss.co.uk,
Deli can help La
which was a
Sorrentina
business
and
many
vice
years
versa,
ago, decades ago,
because the
but is now
arancini
hobbies
in
like the
La
robot boats
Sorrentina are smaller
and
but
little
very nice.
projects.
And of course I spent time in the Comrades Club
and
enjoying
charitable
myself.
causes. So carry on
with the people
down
that you
here.
see
Yes,
in
this
there.
is the same old boring
And
routine
Michelle
people
joined
would
us
have
from
seen
Coventry
before. My
with her
bicycle I
cat
haven't had a
Lady.
chance to use.
And
This
we
is-
had to get together
a few more lights
halfway
now.
between
June's been putting
Coventry,
more
well
Christmas
no, not
lights up,
Coventry, City Boy,
because they come up and
halfway between
better at night. Repairs
Sunninghill,
needed on the
Yateley
cat
and
forts
Raunds
they
near
occasionally
Northampton.
make use of.
So let's
And
go
it's
into
not
those
just fierce
photos.
cats you've got to worry about, it's armed mice. But we've got warning signs everywhere, beware of the mouse, which of course should be mice. So carrying on round to the front. Oh yes, June's camper. Might arrange the power to go out from that to Homer. And battle damage. June said Robin did it. Robin said the wall did it, but the wall is okay. And of course, we don't want to change any of that because it would decrease the value of the camper. Right, getting close to the front door. Yes, junk from, well, including those were the fans inside, and I didn't need all four. Just one is enough inside it. Silly, that's all, the details are there. So cameras everywhere, and the first thing we have to do is read out warning signs for health and safety for anybody who encroaches on the property. And I must add, these are all jokes, because people will say, oh, you don't say that. So first of all, CCTV, hidden TV cameras inside and outside this house. Sound and video is monitored in local houses and elsewhere. No trespassing. Violators will be shot. Survivors will be shot again. Yeah, lots of cameras. There's one. You wave to the camera. And yes, this is probably the most important set of signs over here. Oh, the wind's decided to open the door, or was that something automatic opening the door? Don't know. Anyhow, before we dare go in, that's my study through there, and it says do not disturb. I'm disturbed enough already. But this sign is probably the most important because it's not just cameras you've got to worry about. Home of mad ex-NATO scientist Robin Lovelock. Beware of web cameras and water squirters loaded with water, paint, acid, DNA tracer or nerve agent. Robin would not be mad enough to test these, or would he? Just a joke, of course. Right, it's welcoming us in. Oh, here's one of the guard cats. This one is ours, Toady, although they say dogs have owners and cats have staff. I'm a member of Toadie's staff, aren't I, Toadie? Okay. No hurting anybody. Don't want anybody to get hurt here, okay? That's it. You're going to check things out? Okay. I think I dare go into the house. You can see decorations are up everywhere because June's been very busy. And so this is the big breakthrough, and June, with help from Samantha, managed to clear what she regards as her dining table. But of course, there's a half-size snooker table under there, so it might be possible to have banquets or something in this room near a Christmas perhaps. So quite a transformation. And of course the name of the game is putting things in the right place so you can find them. Right, I'll go briefly into the kitchen at great risk. Hello, June. Just doing a little, she's doing something very important on her smartphone. Probably, what's that? And something important?
No, just checking messages.
No, messages. Yeah. Probably to do with tennis, I expect. Right, so we're going into the lounge. And yes, Christmas tree there. Closed circuit TV station. Quite a good view of people coming to see Hober and others. One camera's failed, that was working, and it's on the photo trail. But, right, here's my diary and other things. We're going to go out in the garden. Yeah. Coming up to 20 to 12. Yes, I'm tracked everywhere. We all are, but no government will tell us that. Right, going out. Yeah, my usual routine each day is I come out, yes, you can see the time, and take a look at the temperature. And if it comes out there, yes, you can see that 10 degrees centigrade, quite reasonable. And just for doing this intro, I'm knocking things over, it's a bit of a state. Yes, little peeing boys and things, they're blocked up, needs to be fixed. Remind me of my trips to NATO at Brussels. One of the 4 candle projects, and the pond has been filled up in order to see basically what it looks like when it's full. But the pond needs to be fixed, so probably after Christmas we'll have another go at clearing some of it. So I'm coming down the garden, a quick look round the corner. This is June's junk heap and her greenhouse. Yes, sorry about the politically incorrect decoration on the water butt. That's where the cats can come in and out, and that's where we keep materials around the side, and that's where the tap can be switched on and off, and it's still on at the moment. So I'm now going to go down the garden. Lots of tidying up. Leaves are the easy bit, relatively speaking. There's the telescope. Did the optics for that when I was a boy, still at school. No chance to do any work on that, of course. When we do, probably put a smartphone on it so that people can look at a TV monitor. Coming down the garden. Yes, that's a little bit better for coming down. To the sundial. Lots of leaves everywhere, but not as many as there had been. Workshop area through there. This is the important bit. Yeah, second pond. So the water comes off the roof into the first pond, overflows down into the second pond, and that overflows. And because I've left the tap running, it is actually overflowing down. It hasn't got very far yet, but it overflows in another little stream. Of course, all these leaves have to be unblocked, and this is the so-called Pond 3 or bog reservoir. Is that the right name? Not sure. Yes, another 4 candles project. And lots of bird feeders. There's 5 of them altogether. So I haven't topped those up this morning, but they usually need a top up. Another one over there. So you will have seen all this repeated in a very boring way on the photo trials. Yes, so lots of bulbs have been planted and they're starting to come up now. But the key thing is, this is a lovely place to sit, and of course, because there's sun getting through, because branches have been cut back, more things can grow in this area, including a bank there where I'm sure we have primroses and things. Speaking of primroses, there was a good use made for my old tatty shoes, a plant container. And along, yes, very confusing this, I know. This is where we've got lots of room for putting things like leaves and twigs and things, and this is where we keep the bird feed, peanuts and other stuff. So I'm working my way around. So this is a recce for somebody might like to help with garden maintenance in the broadest term. So one of the things are, where can you dump things? Well, right, leaves and things can go obviously up there. There's junk there, but some of that junk might be useful. Certainly things like ladders. And inside this shed, there's some tools like the leaf blower that was used not that long ago, within the last week I think, might be 2 weeks. And there's a chainsaw, and yes, not bothering to lock it, because as I've said many times, anybody decides to come in to steal anything will be a bit of an idiot really, but there are idiots around, of course. Right, now supposing you're going to mow the lawn and probably clear the leaves out first, where are you going to find the tools? Well, right, the place is round the side of the summer house. So there's a fly lawnmower, there's a strimmer, other various tools here. That's an electrical, well, both of them electrically. So where are you going to get the electricity? Come round the other side of the summer house, so-called Robin's laboratory. Might get a glimpse of that in a minute. Coming into the workshop area. So there we go. There's an extension leader. There's power. There's power in several places. Here's places to put tools. The workshop area, complete with a vise. A lot of work still needed. Putting tools in the right places so they can be easily found. Got no lack of space. So, for example, as I've said many times, hammers in the same place, files, clamps, spanners, and so on. And then a few garden tools there. And odds and ends, screws. So a lot of tidying up needed. Not a lot around there, I don't think. And we may as well pop into the summer house, which Robin calls his laboratory. And we've started to put some of the stuff in here, so at least we know where it is, like useful junk, e.g. electrical, Halloween stuff. That's more recent robot boat stuff with bits and pieces. Yes, occasionally if I tend a military place, I don't like to be outranked. Yes, Snoopies, of course. So that TV stuff and computer stuff is not switched on. Not sure if that's the correct time. Yeah, it's not far out. Yes, small robot boats. Oh, they'll work, but not really suitable for an Atlantic crossing. Right, I think I can safely get out now without falling over. I think we've shown you most of the stuff now. It's on the same boring photo trails, which, as I've said before, people can regard as a recce of the property, and of course a very practical way of people seeing what work needs to be done or where to go for tools to do the work. I didn't point up there, plenty of scope to cut more branches off. So I'm about to go into those long photo trails for what is about a week of photos and clips. So we're going to those long photo trails now. Monday the 15th of December 2025. Most significant thing was the publication of the latest video, the mid-December 2025 video, and of course that shows that the snooker table had been cleared, possibly for Christmas dinner. Anyhow, here's the photos in the order shot. Homer is on duty there, and we're off for my appointment with Dr. Sarah Jones at Lightwater Surgery. Routine thing, and we'll see if it gives the DVLA a nudge. Yeah, we're quite lucky with parking as well. So here's the photo trail coming back through Windlesham and past a few places, including the entrance to the Arboretum, I think. Yeah, probably missed that. And yeah, the whole area is a lovely area, isn't it? And yeah, turn right at the windmill. It's for Sunninghill, over the border into Berkshire, into Armitage Court, and there's Homer. So, yes, and the robot boat. Yes, Snoopy the Viking, still there. And that's the solution for the moment, which is the batteries there. And there's the flatulent fairy. And June's noticing her Sarah Cocker is flowering, nice scent. Yes, the tracker shows where Robin's been, or rather, that's what I'm looking at, where I've been, but of course anybody can see live where I am. And there's the trip to the surgery, including parking it at the back. And yeah, and the journey back to Armitage Court.
22 Armitage Court. Just here. So what else? Oh, perhaps I've forgotten. Yes, I might have left the hose on, was it? And left the hose running, but yes, it topped up. Well, I started to top up the bog reservoir, or what you call it, the pond 3, but not overflowing yet. So that's all working brilliantly. And while I was down there, I took a few snaps and did a bit of work on editing of the next video, the week's worth of photos and things. And of course I also shot the introduction to that as well, the video at the front, which is a tour of house and garden. But these are the photos I took there. So yeah, that's the lights there. So it's late in the day, checking that the lights come on, and they do. So I can tell by what I'm doing that must have been, about 4 o'clock or so. Yeah. Snapshot of the garden at that time. Yeah. Back into the lounge. And yes, looks like the women have just got back from shopping. Yes, I better help them carry. Oh, it's hard work that, carrying those 2 bags of shopping into the house. Had a bit of a doze. Wore myself out. Woke up, and what next? Well, I listened to the Radio 4 news. Obviously, that was sad news, as it is most days. Right, that processing of the video, it's quite a job, but time to have a walk down to the village. And I guess I must be thinking of somewhere to eat. So past Homer, he doesn't look too bad. You can tell these pumps are working okay when he looks a bit tubby. Past the Comrades Club, carry on down the High Street. Yes, past Sorrentina and Flame Kebab and Sunninghill Wines. And I'm making my way down to the Raj Fuge. Yes, so I go into the Raj Fuge. There's the elephants near the window. Have my 2 onion barges, and making my way back. Ascot locks and that lovely bit of sculpture. Let's hope nobody wants to steal that. Goodness me, perhaps they should duplicate it, if that's possible. Right, into the Comrades Club I look of it, and then back out again. I think because June, when I rang her, she said, the processing had finished a bit earlier than I anticipated, which is good. So it meant I could, yes, photos of the flatulent fairy on my way back in, and the lights on the Christmas tree. So I came home a bit earlier than I might have done, in order to upload the video onto YouTube. And that's it, that's the mid-December video. There's Samantha working hard in the kitchen. 9:30, video uploading, so that's video uploading to YouTube. And there it was, done. That's the end of the photo trail. Tuesday the 16th of December 2025. Yes, I guess the main event was June eating out at the La Sorrentina. That's us having a limoncello at the end of the lovely meal. Anyhow, into the photos in the order shot. Yes, usual routine. Starting at 2:10 in the afternoon. I must have been very busy in the morning. And yes, looks like the women are shopping at, that was down in Sandhurst, wasn't it? And I'm working on the newsletter in the background. And yes, that's one of the reasons why the photo trail probably started rather early. There's Toadie prowling around. Yes, so temperature's not too bad. What was that, 7 degrees
well above freezing. Usual routine of going down the garden. Not much change for days now, but you got a record of it, and lots of leaves to be cleared up, and down to the new topping up bird feed, and top up the bird feeders, all 5 of them. And yes, much the same as it's been for several weeks. Looking up, plenty of scope for branches to be cut back to let more sunlight in, and of course lots of work to be done, and not just the tidying up work, it's other engineering work, you might call it. Right, making my way back to the patio. Yes, very untidy. Oh, and Toadie decides to come out to see what I'm up to. Hello, Toadie. Prowling around, probably ended up having a drink from one of the... Yes, that's what he was doing there, from one of the various gadgets or containers. Right, back into the lounge, and what am I looking at there? I don't know. There's... looks like I'm off to the village, probably to eat by the middle of the day. And yes, past Homer. He's coming along. So down into the village, and of course what I would expect to do at lunchtime is probably eat opposite the Tesco and Flame in the Blend and Brew. But there didn't seem to be anybody in, they were closed. So looked at the under the wreath, yeah. Oh well, I hope everything's okay with them. So, well, the answer was plan B, across the road to the Flame. And yeah, good. I said not quite so many as onions, and I think I preferred that. Otherwise I end up with onions everywhere. And then all that work was going on with the drainage, the Sorrentina, and strange. But as it happened, they did open later. There's that fence still knocked down on the corner into the Comrades Club. Not many photos, but enjoyable time there, interacting with people like Milo. There's some of his crisp packets left over, I think. And yes, now I ended up going down past there because June had been rather a long time having a haircut, so a lovely interaction there. But anyhow, she decided yes, she would join me for a meal. So we go into La Sorrentina, and I thought we were just going to have a glass of wine, but we ended up having the full meal. I had my usual trick. There's a record of the bill there. And yes, he insisted on yes, well, I spilt some of my limoncello, but I think I won't get into trouble over that. Then made a trip into the Comrades Club. June didn't stay there very long, but I sort of checked out the place, and so I forced myself to stay a little bit longer, but not that much longer, and made my way home. The weather wasn't too bad, and yes, there's Homer still on guard duty. He's coming along, Homer and the flatulent fairy. And into the house. Yes, most of the Christmas decorations are up now, I think. Yes, so they're watching whatever that is on the TV. And I make my way into the lounge where I do all the hard work. Yes, anybody could see where Robin was on the tracker, the carriers. Yeah, been a hard day. Oh yes, I updated my membership, and also made a update with a small, very short video of photos on the AMRA page. That's the Armitage Murray Residents Association page. Time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Wednesday the 17th of December 2025. Perhaps the main event for Robin was the get-together of old ESAM's guys at Pine Ridge Golf Course. And yeah, lovely group that was. And but here's the photos in the order shot. Starting with the usual procedures. Yeah, processing a video for the day before. And out into the garden. Get a snapshot of what it was like on that day. Look at 10:25 in the morning, temperature, not more than about 3 degrees centigrade, but not too bad, but freezing. So usual routine of going down the end of the garden to top up the 5 bird feeders and see if anything's different. Not a lot, just lots of leaves to be cleared up, and of course lots of other work which is in the queue. Might call it engineering work. Right, that's bird feeder before it was topped up. There's the box with the feed in, and you notice it hadn't all gone. And looking up, yeah, plenty of scope for branches to be cut back to expose more sun. Yeah, just a record of it. Making my way back up the garden now, past the summer house or Robin's laboratory, coming up to the extension and the top pond, the patio. Yes, lots of tidying up needed, including, yes, everywhere. There's a TV and a computer in there, believe it or not. And into the lounge, yes, you saw him there. And the processing finished, so record the commentary on it as I'm doing now for the next day. And of course, yes, my diary said yes, we had the get together over at Pine Ridge. So there's the route. Yeah, 16 minutes it says by car. So we're ready to go. June's coming of course as well. And oh yeah, swap the battery on Homer. We got a better solution sometime. And there's Toadie. He's in their bedroom. He'd crept in their bedroom. Naughty boy. So he's out, and June says she'd be ready to go in a half an hour, I think, because she had important tennis to watch from Jeddah. Right, so we're off. There's Homer. And yeah, so we've got a photo trail now coming up of their trip. Oh, yeah, she's almost ready. I mean, there's no rush. It was a lunchtime get together. And so here's me trying to get what snaps I can as we leave. And the weather wasn't too bad, actually. Past the Windmill pub, onto the A30, down the A30, past Hallgrave School on the left and Longacres on the right, past the Cricketers and the entrance into Bagshot Park, the Archaeology Centre on the left that would have been the police station, and the Cedar Tree pub that's opened again, probably named after that, Cedar Tree. So that's the middle of Bagshot. It's a church up for sale. Wonder what's going to happen to that. And yes, another pub on the right. And Jolly Farmer Roundabout. You couldn't read that, but I love the way they call it that. So over the railway, over the motorway, and yes, so the ranges are on our left. Later on when you see the tracking you'll see it. So into Pine Ridge, that's the golf centre, and of course there's a nice restaurant and everything there. And the guys are playing golf. June found parking very easy. So we go round the back. I must admit we had a problem with the sticky door. Anyhow, those are the next photos I took. And that was Harry Goldsmith, I think. And yes, June chatting with Linda King, and also June had something to eat, and that was the non-alcoholic beer, Madri. But when you looked at it,
it was brewed in Burton-on-Trent, where my family on the Lovelocks side were. When I was a little kid, that was, when we had trips up there. Oh, there's, I won't bother to give names. they're on that eSams page online. So, right, coming out, and on our way back home, I should think. Yes, we were lucky it wasn't belting down with rain or snow. Yes, past Chobham Ridges, as it says. And yes, you might recognise where we are. We're coming along the A30 now. There's, yeah, same landmarks coming through, or the ones I managed to catch. Entrance to Bagshot Park again. Past another entrance there. There's the Cricketers Pub. And restaurant, of course, Long Acres. Coming up to where we turn left to Sunninghill, the Wimble, over the border into Berkshire, past the Berestead Hotel, into Armitage Court. Coming up to Homer on sentry guard duty. And yes, take a few snaps there. There's Homer with the flatulent fairy. So, into the house. Yeah, boring stuff, I know, but... And there's the track. I probably looked at the history of the track. So there's us arriving. And what did I do next? Yes, looked at my tracker. That's the history of it. There's their trip down to Pine Ridge Golf Course. And of course a lot of scatter. And then the journey back to get back home. Just here. Right, 3:30 in the afternoon, and I already had a snack, so I thought I'd enjoy some time in the Comrades Club. As I say, a lot of things happened that day, and I checked out, the middle of the village, because so everything was different. So, yes. Into the Comrades Club, and that was a very enjoyable time, and some of it was captured there. It was I've got to be careful what I say, but basically somebody, I think it was Colin, that's not Colin, that's Nigel, grandfather of Milo, gave Milo an early Christmas present, which was that, and it bit me, that Dino, yes, hurt my finger, but he didn't believe me. Anyhow, after an enjoyable time there, where next? Oh, perhaps La Sorrentina for arancini. So I enjoyed my arancini there, and then it probably appears pretty soon, Juba joins me. Oh yes, that looks like wine, but in fact it's water. And I did have one glass of wine. Right, so glimpse of Juba there, and back into the Comrades Club, but not for very long, and make my way home. Yeah, I was quite lucky with the weather. It's very, very cold though. There was a strong wind, and it was very, very cold. So past Homer and the flatulent fairy, into the house. Yes, past all the cameras, and there's Toadie waiting for me, and the women having a late snack by the look of it. And yes, hello Toadie. And what else? Yes, anybody could see Robin got back home okay. Well, at least he got it back home. And there's Toadie still messing around. Time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Thursday the 18th of December 2025. This photo is all quite a way through. It's decorations in one of the many houses on my walk through to the Duke for the get-together, the residents. So here's the photos in the Aldershot. Yes, processing of the video from the day before. Out into the garden. Yes, what's that, 10:30?
Temperature coming up to about 9 degrees centigrade. Yes, usual boring routine, keeping a record of what the garden's like at that time and on that day. And make my way down to the end. I'll obviously be topping up the 5 bird feeders. And so as an aid to memory, you can see exactly the state of the garden in case anybody's going to do any property maintenance, including little jobs like clearing up leaves. There's the bird feeder before topping up. There's the box that the bird feed's kept in. There it is after topping it up. And yes, looking up, plenty of scope for more branches to be cut back to expose more sky and sun. Yeah, lots of tidying up could be done. There's the bank ready for primroses, I should think. There's the Gunner Manticata. And making my way back up towards the house, past the summer house and the workshops and up the steps. Yes, a bit untidy that, but that's June's patch. And coming along near the top pond of the patio, yes, lots of tidying up, including, yes, and see where we keep some stuff. And back into the lounge. And what else? Oh, the women are off out by the look of it. And I think that's probably the women's coffee morning round at David and Joanna Booth's. They call it coffee, but I'm not sure if that's all they have. There's Snoopy's robot boat with Snoopy the Viking. There's Toadie coming out, wondering what I'm up to, prowling around. Yes, he's checking out that reindeer. Hasn't lit up yet, but I think it will later. There's Homer. And there was, in the background was the flatulent fairy. Looks like I'm coming back into the house. Oh yes, a little routine there. That should have been rotated. Smartphone didn't just rotated it when I didn't want it to. And yes, that's a glimpse of the games room. That was this battery on charge, which was what I swapped for Homer. Looks like the video as I am. Oh yeah, looks like lots of rain through the day. Might need a brolly. And there's several things coming on. One of them is pub lunch at the Cricketers with my grumpy old friends and neighbours. And yeah, that's the route down. And yes, anybody could track me. So looks like I'm getting ready for Stuart. And sure enough, I can see his car arriving on the closed circuit TV. So yes, hang on 12. So I'll get out there so he doesn't have to walk out in any rain. And so we're off. And look at all those great big puddles. Trouble is we can't splash through them. Or we can, but Stuart chose not to. Past the Windmill pub. Along the A30. Past Hallgrove School. Yes. Quite wet. Yes, so we get to the Cricketers. And obviously water everywhere. Into the Cricketers. And yes, enjoyed our lunch there. That was Mike's, Richard's friend. I had the curry. In fact, several of us had curry, and a couple had, that looks like steak and eggs and chips. So a record of what we ate. And oh yes, there's Alex. And looks, oh yeah, look at that for a puddle. Yeah, so we're on our way back now. Yeah, I think it was belting rain most of the afternoon. And past the Barristade into Armitage Court. Oh yes, some work going on there. Right, so I popped back. We'd be going out having coffee and biscuits at Richard and Faye's, but I popped back for the obvious things. May as well take some photos at the same time, which is the obvious things, so checking if any emails come in, because I don't deal with emails on the move. June's watching tennis from Jeddah. Yeah, so it's 10 past 10. Yes, anybody could see where I was. with the tracker. And there's our journey. And yes, look at that for a puddle. Yeah, so we're on our way back now. Yeah, I think it was belting rain most of the afternoon. And past the Barristade into Armitage Court. Oh yes, some work going on there. Right, so I popped back. We'd be going out having coffee and biscuits at Richard and Faye's, but I popped back for the obvious things. May as well take some photos at the same time, which is the obvious things, so checking if any emails come in, because I don't deal with emails on the move. June's watching tennis from Jeddah. Yeah, so it's 10 past 10. Yes, anybody could see where I was. with the tracker. And there, there's our journey.
down to the cricketers, and there's my time at the cricketers, and then of course came back to where we are, 22 Armitage Court. But then I'm going to, that's here, but I'm going to walk across the road now, which is to Richard and Faye's, up there. So, oh yes, look at that Jackie Lawson card that Stuart sent me. Looking at the rain, looks as it's going to ease off a bit later. In fact, it had eased off a bit, and of course we get less rain on the hill. So, yeah, spent some time in there chatting, and then back home, and not much changed really. Lights are starting to come on, Christmas lights of course, and lights around the Christmas tree under the flatulent fairy. Yes, not too flooded there. Yeah, so yeah, look as though the rain is going to ease right off. So yeah, just checking things. Yes, tracker says I'm back here. So 4:10. Yes, Samantha's doing a bit of work. Toadie's helping her. Mind you, he's probably coming in tired because it was raining. So, yes, tennis on the television, of course. And I did a bit of work, practically finished the first issue of the Christmas newsletter, the version that will get printed. So, getting close to being done. And, yeah, check it out, printing it. South, pass the copies to June so she can find mistakes or suggest changes. That's the online version. Oh yes, the COVID graph, updated that. I did my usual routine of printing it out. And I normally put the printout in the lounge. Oh yeah, it got rotated there by the damn smartphone. But June said, no, the COVID printouts go at this spot. So if I forget where they go, I'll have to look at the blooming photo trail and remember. There's Toadie. Hello Toadie, he's with June. He's also interested in watching tennis. Nah, not really. And yeah, so she's busy doing that. Now we've got this meeting of the Armitage Murray Residents Association, AMRA, at the Duke. And according to that, it's only 14 minutes or so walk. And yeah, so I set off at about the right time, as it turns out, to get there a few minutes after the starting time. And it's lovely and dry and quite pleasant really, walking through the village, past the Comrades Club, past the Flame and the La Sorrentina and the Tesco, and through the village. And of course Christmas lights are starting to be put up everywhere. Into one stop, I probably might have picked up some cash while I was in there. I did, yes. So I got some cash out of the cash machine, carried on my walk along School Road, and that's where the lovely decorations they have outside the house. Got to the Duke, and yes, there's closed for private event. Now, as it turned out, there were two events, and at the time I arrived, most of the people were for a different event. Anyhow, there's a few people that might recognise each other, and so that was an enjoyable time. As I say, two events. One was the Armitage Murray Residents Association Christmas drinks, and the other one, a bigger event, was the Charters gym class, or classes. Anyhow, making my way back, and I thought, oh, perhaps I'll eat in the Sorrentina. And in fact, I had a lovely long chat with Steve, who I hadn't spoken to before, but turned out I didn't eat anything. So anyhow, I popped into the Comrades Club for a little while, not very long, and then thought, right, okay, it was already quite late, as you can imagine. So making my way back home. Yes, we are 22 Armitage Court with Homer outside. Hello, Homer. And yeah, to the front door, into the lounge, 11:15 according to that. Yes, check the tracker, anybody could see me getting back home here. And time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Friday the 19th of December 2025. Yes, June managed to find the full-size Sicilian arancini from a local place. That deserved putting up the front. Yes, now the photo's in the order shot, and going out to join June, topping up the bird feeders, and 11:15, and yes, that's one of the feeders. These are the ones near the patio, and that's where that belongs, so you can see it out the window. And that's where she keeps and there's peanuts and things. So this is also to remind me, because things start being put in different places, and of course that room still needs organising a bit, to say the least. And here's Samantha. Oh, she's up. And yes, is it about to go off to tennis? I don't know. And yeah, coming up to, what's that, 10 to 11? Yes, that video's still processing. Then my usual routine, past the topped up bird feeder and checking the temperature. Well, what's that, 7 or 8 degrees centigrade? Not too bad. Yes, usual snaps around the garden. Going to be, oh yes, the primroses are out in flower. Yeah, that's well into December. And yeah, making my way down the garden to do things like top up the 5 bird feeders down the end, but also snapshot what things are like. It's so easy to forget, and these photo trails can be quite useful. And yeah, making my way down to the end. Yeah, not much different than recent days. There's an empty bird feeder. It's not really empty. Oh, and there's Tony decided to sit on the box there where we keep the bird feed. Not the first time he's done it. So of course, when I start opening the box, he does decide to get out. That photo got rotated. Right. So that's after topping up. Oh, and then he's decided, oh, I'll check out the box. So I do confess that when he got inside, I closed the lid on him for a minute or two. I wonder how long he'll put up with that. But he seemed quite relaxed when I opened the lid. There's another photo that got rotated by the damn smartphone. Yes, anyway, I decided to get out and prowl around the garden. So a few more snaps, working my way back up. Everything a bit overgrown. Brambles as well. Lovely blue sky. Yes, that's coming up nicely, isn't it? Yeah, working my way up towards the house and to the patio, the top pond. Yes, no change there. Lots of junk to be tidied up and put in the right place. Yes, that processing is coming along. So in the lounge, looking around, processing done. So I can put the commentary on for that day as I'm doing for the next day. And that's the newsletter. And that's practically done to the stage of getting it printed. And what's that? Oh, it's the women leaving tennis, because they were playing tennis while I was doing a lot of that stuff. And I can see on their way back. So I go out just as they're arriving. And yes. So nothing particularly new there. Oh yes, check the tracker. Yes, that shows they're back. Oh yes, and then Yeah, Elite Retro, just around the Repro, sorry. Uh, and I've used them every year for several years now, and give an excellent service. And yes, still work to be done on Homer. So where I'm off to, well, I would imagine it's probably to eat. Past the Comrades Club, opposite Tesco and the Flame Kebab, into Blend and Brew. And yes, enjoyable time there, and of course the food. And yes, there we go. And Abhishek, it turns out his car had got rather dented, and that's why he hadn't been on the Tuesday. And I obviously gave him Gary's contact details for that. Oh yes, there's me with Billy in the Comrades Club, and I was also introduced to his younger brother, who I'd been thought it was his kid. Anyhow, look, so we're off to Elite Repro in South Ascot, near the railway station. So past a few landmarks, including the playing field, and making our way to the little industrial patch. There they are. So go in there, and yeah, they were ready. Perfect job. And so got that. So that was whatever it was, 200 copies. So it should keep me well supplied for the next year. And making our way back home into Armitage Court. Lovely clear skies. And to 22 Armitage Court and Homer and the robot boat with Snooky the Rykin, and there's the newsletters. Into the kitchen. Samantha goes up to have a coffee, and Toadie on guard duty there. Check the tracker. Yes, anybody could see where Robin was live, and I'm just looking at after the event. Yeah, time in the village, and then round to Elite Pro, not far from Screwfix, and back home. Just here. Oh, it's Juba and myself. There'd be a reason for that. Can't remember whether it was a message or whatever, but it's obviously getting darker later in the day. And oh yes, that's it. We'd arranged with Juba to pop round for a few minutes, and that's where June showed us the arancini that she'd got from the local place, Luigi's Delicatessen. And we're going to check that out. Or June has checked it out, but I certainly will. And there's eating in the Flame Kebab, and he had a chip or two. And then into the Comrades Club, and yeah, a little bit of time there. Of course, Friday is busy, and looks like I'm making my way home now. Yeah, quite pleasant really. It wasn't raining. Into 22 Armitage Court, past a rather deflated Homer. We've still got to work, and the fairy that's toppled off her Christmas tree. Work needed there. And there's Toadie, and Jean's watching something or other on TV. So yes, anybody could see that Robin got back home. What's the time now? 25 to 10 was that? There's Toadie. Time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Saturday the 20th of December 2025. The highlight for Robin was meeting Luigi and his butcher friend Francesco at their new business just round the corner, 6 minutes drive away at Lovelocks Barnes, the new delicatessen, Luigi's Deli. And June and I went in there again. June had bought those the earlier day, 2 arancini, which I tested. And interesting comparison with Las Sorrentinas. Basically, I did tell everybody that Sorrentinas ones, even though recent and smaller, were tastier. Anyhow, now into the photos in the order shot. Going into the garden, yeah, about 11 o'clock in the morning, temperature coming up towards 15 degrees centigrade. Usual boring routine, well, boring for the viewer, which is going down the garden as a record of what the garden was like then. Useful information for anybody helping with property maintenance in the broadest sense. Down to top up the bird feeders. Oh yeah, look, those daffodils, I think they are, coming up already. And yes, lots of leaves still to be cleared up. That's an easy job. Just needs time and a bit of effort. So that's the bird feeder before topping it up. There's 5 of them. Oh yes, I rather like that, my plant container. Oh, that got rotated by the smartphone. Stupid smartphone. Trying to be too clever. And that's probably after topping up. Didn't need very much. And continue with the photos, looking up into the sky. Lovely blue sky. Plenty of scope to cut branches back more. And then I noticed that all those bulbs we haven't had a chance to plant yet. Yeah, it's all a matter of the women are doing more important things like watching tennis on the television. Although, to be fair, quite a lot of progress has been made by June tidying up the games room. Well, for the motivation of being able to have Christmas dinner there. Right, coming round to the patio area near the top pond. Yeah, still untidy, hasn't been tidied up at all. Back into the house. Yes, there's the photo trails being processed for the day before. Yes, into the lounge. Still tidy up needed there, but we've got the Christmas tree. Out the front, yes, Homer's rather deflated. And of course, I did do a significant bit of work of tidying up things there, because the fan had shifted. So, oh yes, and something else happened. Somebody made a delivery there and put it near Homer. So I looked on the closed circuit TV, yeah, somebody might recognise him. Saved him a few yards walk. Anyhow, that was a bit of a diversion. So, yeah, that's finished. That's the processing. Put a commentary on it. This is for the day before, like I'm doing now. And then June and I are thinking, right, that's the trip coming up. The get-together in a few days. And what's happening next? Oh yes, I test my arancini that June got yesterday from Luigi's Deli, and it was pretty good. And then we think, right, now we'll take a trip round to Luigi's Deli. And but I checked out as much information I could online first of all. Yes, and a nice video of him introducing the place. Apparently it's only opened a couple of weeks ago. And lots of things all on the go at the same time. Right, it looks as though I'm getting ready to be taken out by June. And I thought, right, first thing is, because they're Sicilians and they know arancini well, we'd probably go, this is their trip out past the Windmill pub along the A30. And I thought, rather than going there direct, we'd go into Longacres and touch base with the Sicilians at the front, the ice cream place. And, well, they didn't know about the new business. So there seems to be no connections there. Not sure what happened there. Picture went off by accident. So we're now going back along the A30, past where we'd normally turn it off, and into Lavershot Barnes. Yeah, Maidenhead Aquatics. I touched base with them. No, they didn't know anything about the guys there. And there, yeah, Luigi's, that's the business. So the tractor marks the spot. It's been there for quite a few years. So we go in there with June. June's having a good look round at all the other stuff they've got there. And there's a cafe area as well. And of course, lovely conversations, even if they were short. Yeah, that went on by accident. So on our way back home, past the Grand King's Beaches estate, and into Armitage Court, and there's Homer on guard duty. Yes, there's the robot boat with Snoopy the Viking. So, back into the house. Yes, there's the games room. June's pretty well got that ready for Christmas dinner with family. And, oh yes, there's a lot of work needed there. I mean, probably simple work. The flatulent fairy is blown off, beg your pardon, been blown off her Christmas tree. Got to be careful what I say. Looks like I'm off down to the village, and I'm guessing that would be to eat. And probably opposite La Sorrentina and the Flame. Yes. I did pop a newsletter or two through the door there, and into the Blend and Brew. So with Abhishek and so difficult to keep up. Yeah, I tried something lighter because I'd already had the arancini earlier, and that was nice. It's again an Italian dish, tuna that was. And into the Comrades Club, and yes, there was young families there, and you're meeting new members of the family all the time, and gradually beginning to learn names as well. Oh yeah, I decided to put that on there. Yeah, mostly for a bit of amusement with the kids. And yeah, so it looks like it's a lot later now, look. And of course I'm touching base with June into the Sorrentina, and yeah, they said yes, you can have some arancini, and there they are. And of course, lovely meal. Didn't eat a great deal because I'd already eaten that day, but it was lovely, lovely taste. And back into the Comrades Club again. And yes, so relax there, and then make my way home. And of course, even though we do it in writing via WhatsApp chat and speaking, Adriano doesn't hear the nice things you say about his arancini are actually tastier. Perhaps he thinks I'm still trying to wind him up. And yeah, into the house. Don't think it was that late. Yes, there's Toadie. This is June watching the last episode of, and multitasking, playing a game of Strictly Come Dancing. Yes, anybody could see where Robin was on his tracker. There he is, just here. Yeah, still. And there's the results. Who's the winner? Oh, yes, not very good timing of getting those snaps, but time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Sunday the 21st of December 2025. Yes, I'm using a couple of photos for what is a typical pattern for me for walking down to the village to eat in the evening and or go into the Sunninghill Comrades Club. But here's the photos in the order shot. Starting with the usual routine, yes, going out at whatever that is, coming up to 11:15. Processing of video going on for the previous day. Yeah, there you go, 11. Temperature, yeah, it looked about 7 degrees. Yeah, not too bad. Usual boring trail of photographs of me going down the garden, but occasionally it's a useful aid to memory of something that's changed, like a plant or whatever, or mischief got up to by foxes. And of course it can be useful for somebody who might give us a hand with some of the work, like all those leaves to be cleared up. Relatively easy compared with all the other work that is needed. Right, there's the bird feeder, or one of the 5 bird feeders before topping up, and there's a bird feeder with, bird seed has started to grow. Shows that hasn't had a lot of work done on it, or perhaps things haven't been feeding from it. Yeah, so that's where the bird seed is kept. That got rotated by the smartphone, trying to be too smart. Didn't have the time to rotate it back again. Yes. Lots of tidying up needed, yeah, especially the leaves. And there's the second pond. Making my way back. Yes, there's the summer house or Robin's laboratory. Past the sundial, up onto the right, that's approaching the patio area and the first pond. Yes, no change there. Lots of untidiness, and yes, there was a computer and a TV in there. Back into the lounge. Yes, processing still got some to be done. And oh yeah, hard working, all that walking and taking photos and everything. Right, out the front, yes, Homer arrangement with his fan seems to be as it should be. And what I did do is change the wiring, so instead of having the batteries out near Homer, well, typically this battery was being used. Oh right, lots of things happening in parallel. There's putting the commentary on for the day before, and June was looking for lights to go inside Homer. We never did find those, and that was the wiring that I've done, so that it basically just one black wire further back. Yes, that's good to see Samantha helping. Oh yes, that was getting the updated contact information for Nicola McIntosh for a family I was putting them in contact with. And yes, he says, probably looking back at when things changed. Yeah, another picture got rotated. That's some lights, June's. There could be a plan B for lights inside Homer. Yes, so that's not a bad solution there. I mean, it could be hidden away more, but right, making way down to the village, and it's obviously middle of the day. And yes, and guess where I'm going? Well, past the Comrades Club, and opposite the Tesco, Flame and Sorrentina, and into the Blend and Brew. And there's Brian and Pat. And that's what I started eating there, instead of the great big load of stuff on toast. So, back up the road, yes, past that fence being knocked down, still not up yet. I wonder who did that. And into the Comrades Club. Yes, enjoy my time there, relaxing, and yeah, usually quite careful photos are taken. Right, out at the Comrades Club, wasn't too bad in terms of, there looked to there be some rain, but it wasn't very much. So just a little bit of drizzle. Tends to go round us on the hill in Sunninghill. Back to Homer, he looks nicely inflated. And the robot boat with Snoopy the Viking. Hello, Homer. And the flatulent fairy definitely needs work. She got knocked off there, or rather not knocked off, got to be careful my language, she got blown off. Blown off her tree by the wind. Out. June's watching Amadeus, I think. I come back, yeah, tracker's working, anybody could see where Robin was, including getting back just here. So I'm now relaxing in the lounge. Yes, June's watching Amadeus. There's Toadie, we're rather bored with that, and I decided to have a snack rather than eat down in the village. And I got a phone call from Paul. That was good, catching up. And yes, they're both eating now. You can see what they're eating, the chicken that June's rustled up, and they're watching Amadeus. And now it's off to the village. So obviously I don't need to eat, but guess where I might be going? Yes, into the Comrades Club. And yes, they didn't have their usual bingo and things on. Of course, it's Christmas time, so lots of people have got different arrangements. But made my way back. Again, wasn't too bad in terms of the weather. And into 22 Armitage Court. You can see better there that the ferry was lying over. Still hasn't had time to Put that up. There's the power for Homer. Into the house, yes, watching whatever it is. And the tracker, yes, anybody could see. There's Robin back home. Time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Monday the 22nd of December 2025. That photo's near the end. That's Lady checking out the place after she arrives with Michelle from Coventry late in the evening. And there's Toady. He's not sure what his attitude, but I think they'll go on alright. So now the photo's in the order shot, starting, it was about 10 past 10 in the morning, processing of the video from the day before, and going out into the garden while that's going on. Usual routine. There we go, 10 past 10, temperature, well, what's that, 8 degrees centigrade? Yes, usual boring thing, but it's a snapshot of the garden on that day. And so making my way down to top up the 5 bird feeders and see if there's something different. And in fact there was that plate, and I thought, oh, what's happened there? I thought it belonged up there, but I realised afterwards, perhaps no, that might have been one of the plates used to put beer to keep things, slugs off things. Anyhow, not to worry. That was the bird feeder before topping it up, and that's after topping up. And yes, usual snaps around. Looking up now, there's lots of scope for cutting more branches back to expose more sky and sunlight. And yeah, so snaps around there, one can see things growing. Oh yes, the primroses doing nicely. And yes, occasionally you want to consult back as an aid to memory, but things are growing even though it's still December. And right, making my way back up the garden. Yes, that's coming along nicely. Past the telescope, up to the house, along towards the patio near the top pond. Yeah, it's all very untidy. It hasn't changed for weeks, I think. In fact, longer. But there's a record of it. Outstanding work to be done. Tidy up. Back into the lounge. Oh yes, the 3 wise robins. And the processing, it's coming along. Be ready soon. And what's next? Yeah, hard work. All that walking down the garden and walking back. Right, the video's finished processing. Newsletter, getting ready to take that out. And I used a bit of AI to see what advice it would give on how long it would take, and it looked impressive, but in fact it wasn't correct in terms of the number of houses. Probably houses with names rather than numbers confused it. So there's me starting by delivering these newsletters into the door in Armitage Court, and that certainly was hard work, and I didn't take many pictures. 10 past 12, but I hadn't done them all because I hadn't taken enough with me, so I basically took more and completed Armitage Court. And yeah, made my way back and past Homer and the robot boat. Hello, Homer. And the flatulent fairy, she needs to be put back up the tree. And into the house, and I must admit that was hard work. I was very hot. Yeah, there's the track of where I went, so anybody watching live would have seen where I was and moving from one house to the next. So that was it. Got back here at 22 Armitage Court, and I must admit I was quite hot and sweaty at the end of that. And then there was news on the robot boat from Warsaw, and it had stopped reporting. So there was some exchanges on that and the possibilities. Now what I'm looking at now, oh yes, the women are shopping, and or had been shopping, and so it looks as though I'm off. I suspect in the middle of the day, that'll be to eat in the village. So past the robot boat into the blend and brew, yes, and yeah, lovely conversations there with Brian Burgess, and yeah, that's the food I was eating. And then I suppose the Comrades Club is the likely place after that. Yes, past the fence on the corner. Be curious when they find out. I'm sure they already know who did it. So into the Comrades Club. Probably didn't take many pictures there, but enjoyable time. And then Samantha came and picked me up and brought with her the newsletters. So it saved me a load of walking to get round to Murray Court. And otherwise I would have had to go home to get it. So she basically followed me around. Murray Court was the main thing, but I thought, I remember there was Armitage Court House further down, and I didn't realise how far down the road it was. So I got a bit more exercise walking down there. Same routine, put the newsletter in everywhere, and then we get back, and yes, rather deflated Homer. That was, I plugged him in to the right place afterwards. And so back home, and probably going to have a look at the tracker. There's showing me getting back home, and then look at the history. Yeah, so there's picking me up from the Comrades Club, and then my walk around Murray Court, starting with that walk down St Mary's Hill to Armitage House. And yeah, well, that was strange. It showed June's tracker as being in Murray Court, so I put it on charge there, but don't know what the explanation was, but it sorted itself out later. Yeah, that shows me in the right place. So what's next? Oh yes, that was an email from Jude Bell, and it prompted me to look at that old video, 2001, of her family starring in that geocaching program on BBC World. What it was, 200 million viewers, something like that. And there's putting things right on the batteries and chargers for the fan in Homer, and I think that was Samantha off to tennis, and that's me thinking, right, I'm going to have a walk down to eat at the Raj Vuj. Being a Monday, June's watching some sport or other on the TV, so I'm off to walk down to the village past Homer, suitably inflated. He should be okay now because he's not only connected to a battery, but there's a power supply connected to the battery from the mains. So past some of the obvious landmarks in the village, and yes, that's the Jade, or Jade Fountain as it used to be, into the Raj Vuj. Yes, that's the two elephants in the window, and I was right down the end where that's my two onion barges, and yeah, enjoyed that. Then making my way back, and yes, I love that sculpture outside Ascot Locks. So coming up the high street past the Jade, and keeping up, yes, there was into the Comrades Club, but I didn't spend very long in there. I made a note of that. They got an event coming up, the New Year's Eve party, and I thought, well, I didn't want to miss the fun of when June picked up Michelle and brought her cat Lady back. So that was one of my reasons for coming back a bit earlier than I would have done. So everything seems to be lit up as it should do, and she's watching something or other. I think it's Amadeus she's watching on the telly, so you can see it 20 past 8 then. Yes, anybody could see Robin got back home, and there's Toady, and he was saying, oh, where are they off to? And June's tracker, yes, that's working now, and there's to the railway station to pick up Michelle. And so that was working exactly as it should do, and Michelle's train must have been on time because they were soon back on their way. Yeah, there we go. I think it was 13:37 the train came in, and there was at 1:45. So I can say she's not far from home, so it'll be arriving soon. Look on the closed circuit TV. Yes, there they are coming down the road and down the drive and out of the car. And there's Michelle carrying Lady in her transport container. And then the tracker shows, yes, they got home. And then Lady decides to prowl around, and one of those photos is the one I use. That one of the ones that's fairly clear. And yeah, so that's been sorted, and I think that's about going to be the end of the photo trail. Tuesday the 23rd of December 2025, the main event being the Christmas get-together of their family, and that was a photo right at the very end that Sally took, and where we chose was Trigger Pond, roughly halfway between Northampton and Sunninghill, Ascot and Yateley. So here's the photos in the order shot on that day. Yes, the women are at tennis, so that's June and Samantha playing tennis. I looked around, yes, that drawer has got broken, so that's a job to be done. All comes under property maintenance, just a matter of who's going to do it and how. Yes, so now my usual routine, going out into the garden, 5 to 10, temperature 5 degrees. Yes, boring for everybody, but it's a record of what the garden was like on that day. So I'm going down the end of the garden to top up the 5 bird feeders, but also a record of what it was like. So yes, a lot of tidying up can be done with leaves everywhere, and not much different for the last day or two. And yes, there's one bird feeder before. Yes, got rotated by that smartphone trying to be too smart. Topped up that bird feeder and the other 4, and yes, a few more snaps, including looking up. Plenty of scope, as I've said many times, to cut more branches back to expose more sky and sun. So making my way back up the garden past the summer house or laboratory and the sundial, up the steps into, yes, the patio area near the top pond. Lots of tidying up, nothing been done for weeks and weeks or longer, including that there's a computer and a TV in there, believe it or not. And yeah, looking up, there's grapes there, could be harvested. A lot of stuff could be cut back into the lounge and out to the front. Yes, that arrangement seems to be a good one for Homer. So his fan is receiving power from a battery, and also that battery is on charge. There was a delivery, it's not on the photo trail, but a guy did a delivery to us, and yeah, oh yes, that's earlier photo trails will probably show you what it is, but it's quite heavy. But that's at the Christmas tree ready for June. That's June's present from Robin, so you know what that's like on Christmas Day. Right, looks like, yeah, it was hard work, all that work walking down the garden and back again. So looks like they're moving, yes, to where the car's parked, and so they'll be on their way back. Yes, there they are, going past the fire station and down into South Ascot. And oh, there's a diversion there. Now, of course, I thought that was to drop somebody off, but it wasn't. I think it was to drop Christmas presents to somebody they know that's also a member of the club. And right, so now they're only a few minutes from home, practically home. So let me go out. Yes, there they are, just arrived. And that's June and Samantha getting their tennis stuff out. And of course, we'll be going off in that same car fairly soon. There's Toadie decided to come in and have whatever that was, brunch I suppose. yes, the tracker showed them at home, and yes, Toadie's now patrolling round the front. Hello, Toadie. Oh, that was the the post lady. There was a lovely brief conversation with her, pointing out things like the flatulent fairy, and I did give her a newsletter as well. Right, there's Trigger Pond where we're going to, and yeah, Google Maps gives the whatever it is, 1 hour and 11 minutes. Yeah, not very long to get there, and so that's where we're going, and it's right near military RAF base, or what was, if it isn't still. And oh yes, there's that drawer, and June agreed, yeah, clear all the knives and forks out of it, and then it was in a position that could be easily glued. And Michelle was pointed out where the glue and stuff was, but she was also thinking of other ways of doing it, so there wasn't a time to do that before we sent off. So now we're loading stuff like presents and things into the car, coming up to 12 o'clock, and we were thinking, yeah, if we get away by midday, that's plenty of time to get there well before the 1:30 table booking. And so we're off. So a lot of this will be the photo trail of the journey. Yeah, straight through Sunninghill past the Cobras Club. Not sure what happened there, but over the bridge, the railway, past the Jade, and the school on the left, and the Cords Hall on the right, and out to the end, where we got on the A329 main road, past the what was the Wales pub, into Ascot, and what was the old courthouse on the right, now solicitors I think, and past Ascot Racecourse on the left, up to the Peanut Roundabout and further into, yes, it's well, different villages as you go through. Yeah, that's coming into Cranbourne, I think. Somebody's got a lovely great big Grinch or whatever he's called. Grinch, I don't know. So through Cranbourne, carrying on their road, we're going north up towards High Wycombe is on our route, and getting on the M40. So that's, yeah, that's the church, and yeah, that's the back entrance to ones. And then I thought, perhaps I could keep my smartphone charged, but that cable wasn't working somewhere, the connectors or whatever. So as it happened, the camera didn't go flat all day. So right, we're coming up to probably on the M40 now, into Oxfordshire. Yeah, and there's the main landmark that I always remember, which is the cut-in going through the Children's. And also there's that stretch where the power pylons are alongside the road. And of course a lot of this stuff doesn't appear on the Google mapping. They may improve it sometime. And right, so we're now on the country road, so probably getting close. Yes, I think we're getting close to our destination now. And that looks like it, yes. The Trigger Pond. There's the pond. And on the other side of the road is, yeah, parking round the back, when we didn't have too much of a problem getting a parking spot. So into it, yes, amusing thing about a creche for husbands. And yes, there we go, 1637 that was established on the main Carter's track. And there was, yeah, I got some 0% Heineken, but they gave me a glass which was an Italian glass. Not to worry, I was going to drink it out of the bottle. Oh yes, the men's loo is quite interesting. Yeah, there you go, small, medium or liar. And I thought that was Ricky Gervais, but no, the women told me that was a famous actor. I don't know. Right, messages, or not messages, but so much tracking. And there's Saskia and Gary that got delayed by, had to have a dentist appointment in Bracknell, and so that was all part of their journey. And but we're still ahead of Becky with Jordan and the babies, and also Sully. And here they are arriving. The good thing is, of course, they're a track, so we had some idea, yes, they would be getting there soon. And there's June enjoying the youngest baby. That picture went off by accident. And yeah, and there's Sister Sally with David. And they were delayed quite a lot. But yes, so there's Sully. Hello. And so grabbing a chance to get what snaps I can. And yes, of course, yeah, young man was taking orders, and I decided I'd have the soup as a starter. And yes, it was very tasty. And then that was what June was eating, fish and chips, I think, but I was having the burger, and some were having pizzas. There you go, pepperoni pizza, and I think that was potatoes and mushrooms, but I'm not sure. And there's young Thea playing around with a smartphone by the look of it, unless she's putting an order in. I don't know, I don't think so. Oh yes, and there's Cheryl with a partner, who we met at the funeral of her mum, which was, believe it or not, a lovely event earlier in the year, and they used to be our neighbours. And there's me looking at the bill and settling up, and I did offer the million Turkish liras, but they weren't particularly interested, and it was, yeah, good price for good food and lovely atmosphere. So yeah, and there's a couple of I say lads. Yeah, it was, if I get it right, Tony and Robin. Robin was in fact the father, and of course there was a bit of banter about whether they were brothers. But not to worry, there's a blank frame by accident. So it looks like we're leaving and on our way back. Obviously dark, so photos are even worse, including ones that are a bit slow taking the picture. But that looks as though we're coming into Sunninghill now. Yes, I'm beginning to recognise things like the course hall. When the traffic meant we paused, the picture was a little clearer. Coming up the high street, past the Jade, or what was the Jade Fountain, further up, and that's the Flame Kebab I recognise. And yes, coming out of the 20-mile-an-hour zone into Armitage Court and 22. So we've arrived home. So now they've got to get out of the car and get the stuff. And then Toadie came out to meet us. Or Michelle obviously made it. There's a got rotated by the smartphone, but basically the electrics for the Homer and his fan is working fine. So into the house. Yes, all the lighting is okay there. And yes, Toadie follows in. Hello. So he doesn't want to miss anything. And of course, don't forget, he's been left alone with Lady. And I think occasionally there's a growl from Lady, but yeah, 7 o'clock is when we got home. And yeah, so now there's a bit of fun where they bought some catnip or something. I don't know, it's some substance that cats like, and they were feeding both of them, using it as a means of perhaps having a friendly situation, and they both enjoyed it. There's Lady enjoying it, and there's a bit of hissing there, a bit of competition for it, and Toadie trying it as well. Yes, so a bit of fun there. I just enjoy watching it, and yeah, so that's about it. There's the photos that Sally sent, and so that's the end of the photo trail.
I warned you they'd be long photo trails. So, yes, glimpse. Lots of junk to be cleared up. Yeah, there's a TV and computer and everything else in there. Coming back into the house because we're going to run into material that was shot, I think it was a couple of years ago. And it was on two subjects. global warming and the prophetic words of James Lovelock, and Robin's experiences with the DVLA, Driver Vehicle Licensing Authority. So we'll start from the kitchen here. Yes, memories of Sicily and that trip to Sardinia, that interesting village. Look at you, yeah. And that older material, it starts from about there, but let me just point out, there's the expensive Renoir, and this is what I'm shooting it on. Right, so that old material starts at about here. Now what I put on the screen, because global warming is rare in itself, it's something that's been on my grumpy page for years. The remarkable James Lovelock, who passed away on the 26th of July, his 103rd birthday. I'll read out what this says here. This has been on the grumpy page for years, not long after the publication of his book, Revenge of Gaia. We can't stop global warming, but we may delay it by a few decades to give us time to prepare for its effects. Vast areas of the world, including as close as continental Europe, becoming arid desert, shrinking of habitable areas of the planet to much smaller parts of the planet, closer to the poles. The Earth will then only be able to support a small fraction of its present population, and there will be a need for massive migration. Places like the UK will remain temperate a little longer, so be an attractive destination. We need all world governments to cooperate to prepare for this inevitability. Also to agree things like reduce use of fossil fuels to give us a few more decades to prepare. And then it goes on. The above is not a quote, but how I remember what James Lovelock said in his book, The Revenge of Gaia, etc. That's been unchanged on my site for years. And right, well, the other thing I should mention, yes, retired, happy and spending that kid's inheritance, is for some time now I've not been able to drive due to, well, several mistakes at the DVLA. And what I will say is that I have new evidence of what happened inside the DVLA, which I won't publish yet, because I'm still waiting for the reply to the letter which was delivered by recorded delivery to the head of the DVLA and also other people. So I'll put in at the end of this long video the video that's gone up, me talking about the DVLA, and basically in summary it says I don't want anybody to get into trouble, and that is definitely the case, and resigning is too easy. Problems need to be fixed. But quite honestly, that is a minor thing compared with all the other things that are going on in the world, not least wars, and of course what's in the background and very important is global warming. So let's run into that. Back in 2012.
Seen the launch of a transatlantic sailing attempt this morning in a model boat. Retired NATO scientist Robin Lovelock launched his Snoop Loop from Barton-on-Sea towards the Bahamas. It's already been tested over 5,000 miles on a lake in Berkshire. The model will be steered and tracked through a satellite system and by Snoopy, of course, and it should make the crossing in 6 months, if it survives, that is.
The most important thing of the lot, of course, is Snoopy the Viking, the skipper. I don't think he'd make it otherwise. We've also got another bit and piece here. This is a GPS logger that logs the position every 15 minutes. That was back in 2012. The guy that put this material together, including the live broadcast and what went up on the BBC website, is Ben Moore.
I just worry for Snoopy. Sport now and Hampshire.
Right, on to the next topic. Right. Now, I'm going to do this all in one take. All unrehearsed and unscripted, so sorry about that. What I'd like to happen, if anybody picks up on the DVLA story, is, as I say, nobody getting into trouble, and that's a genuine request. But when they find flaws in procedures where they don't cover certain things, be good if those are fixed. What I think would be useful for anybody looking at the DVLA and perhaps helping them is, first of all, their organisation chart showing the structure. Yes, it's well known who the head of the DVLA, remarkable woman, looking at her CV, and relevant to this story is the head of the health part. But it would be very useful to see, even if names aren't attached, obviously the names can be attached where they're public already, is how many people in each branch, how many people are reporting to how many. So a simple tree would help. I suggest that first of all. Then, perhaps even more important, is how many people working for the DVLA, even if you don't identify the individuals, are salaried by the DVLA excuse me, directly, as opposed to contracted through an agency or a business. That is very important, and we've seen what's been happening in places like the NHS for years. So that comes into the equation in terms of whether money is well spent, and of course the DVLA collects a lot of money, and there are probably other things as well. But as a starting point, I'd hope anybody that responds to this, I can't afford to get overloaded, we've got other things to do, many other things to do, and we'll be taking a holiday. That'll be public, yes. I'm tracked everywhere by different things, and in fact, if anybody's paranoid about it, anybody who's tracking somebody or looking at somebody's probably seen already. But at the end of the day, there's me whittering on, which is one of my main weaknesses since I was a little child. That's why if you put things up, clearly be careful what you put up, and often it can do some good. I'm now in the kitchen, and June's rustling up some food in the microwave for Samantha, and here's Samantha, and of course there's tennis on the television, just for a change. So, oh yes, point out, holidays in we're going off to Sicily again soon, and into the hall. Yes, nice expensive paintings here. Yep, expensive little pocket camera, not expensive. And through into the lounge, and
so time to wrap up this video. Oh, looks like I can see a pussycat. Yes, that one's Toadie. What are you doing, Toadie? You checking what I've been doing? Oh dear, looks like I left the tap running. Oh, I better turn that off. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I know. I'm going to rush off down the garden now because I didn't plan it this way. But here we go. Yes, I'd left the tap running. So, no, it hasn't filled this up yet. No worries. So, run back up the garden again. Try not to trip over. Yes. Hello, Toadie. So, as I was about to say, yes, it's quite difficult without a selfie stick or something. So to wrap up this video, it only remains to say, Look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy what days we have.